What if I told you that everything you've been taught about mental strength is wrong? We often picture a mentally strong person as someone who is cold and unemotional, a stoic figure who never shows weakness, remaining calm no matter the storm. But what if science proves the exact opposite? What if the most resilient minds are actually those that are flexible, emotionally aware, and even vulnerable? In a world filled with pressure, the ability to navigate challenges without breaking is more valuable than ever. But true mental fortitude isn't about being a stone wall or suppressing your feelings. In fact, modern psychology shows that genuine strength comes from a sophisticated set of internal skills that allow you to adapt, grow, and thrive, even in the face of adversity. Today, we're revealing the 6 subtle but powerful signs that prove you have a truly resilient mind. And the first one might surprise you. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are science-backed indicators that you can recognize in yourself and build in your own life. We'll explore the psychology behind each one, see how they show up in the real world, and give you practical steps to build your own mental strength. So, if you're ready to redefine strength and unlock a more resilient you, stick around. Section 1. Emotional regulation. The first and arguably most crucial sign of a mentally strong mind is emotional regulation. Now, this might sound like the old idea of suppressing your feelings, but it's something else entirely. Emotional regulation isn't about ignoring what you feel. It's the ability to recognize your emotions, understand their message, and then choose how you respond, rather than letting them hijack your actions. Mentally tough people don't run from difficult emotions. They learn to work with them, which makes them better at coping. It's all about the pause between a trigger and a reaction. That small window where you decide who's in charge, you or your momentary feeling of anger, fear, or anxiety. Let's dismantle the myth that strength means being emotionless. Society often praises the stoic figure who never flinches, but this is a dangerous misreading of what it means to be strong. True Stoicism wasn't about suppressing emotion. It was about understanding it so it couldn't cloud your judgment. Pretending you don't feel anything just leads to internal conflict and makes it harder to connect with others. Real strength lies in embracing our full range of emotions. The science here is compelling. Psychology and neuroscience show that people with strong emotional regulation skills are better equipped to handle stress, maintain focus, and work toward their goals. In fact, recent scientific reviews show that people with robust emotion regulation skills not only cope better with stress, but may even show lower levels of physical inflammatory markers in the body. Research on athletes has found a significant link between emotional regulation and mental toughness, with one study suggesting it contributed to over 60% of an athlete's mental toughness under pressure. Another study on elite Taekwondo athletes revealed that cognitive reappraisal, or changing how you think about a situation, was a powerful predictor of their mental fortitude. This ability to reframe a negative event as a challenge is a cornerstone of a resilient mind. It's not about pretending a bad situation is good. It's about finding the constructive path forward. So what does this look like in the real world? Imagine you get a critical email from your boss. The immediate reaction might be a jolt of defensiveness or anxiety. An unregulated response is to fire back a heated reply, which could damage your professional relationship. But a person skilled in emotional regulation notices the feeling, the tight chest, the racing thoughts, and pauses. They might think, okay, I'm feeling attacked, and that's valid. But reacting from this place won't help. They give themselves time for that emotional wave to pass. Then, with a clearer head, they can analyze the feedback, identify any valid points, and craft a measured, professional response. That gap between stimulus and response is where mental strength is built. Or think about disappointment. Let's say you've worked for months on a project that fails. The sadness is natural. The mentally strong person doesn't tell themselves, I shouldn't feel this way. Instead, they allow the feeling, maybe by journaling or talking to a friend. They might say, this loss hurts, and it's okay to be disappointed. But they don't get stuck there. By processing the emotion, they prevent it from spiraling into despair. They can then shift into a problem-solving mode, asking, what can I learn from this? What will I do differently next time? This is emotional agility, feeling your feelings without letting them become your entire reality. So, how can you cultivate this skill? Section 2. resilience, and adaptability. The second profound indicator of a mentally strong person is a deep well of resilience and adaptability. If emotional regulation is about managing your internal world, resilience is about how you get back up after life knocks you down. The American Psychological Association defines resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, or significant stress. It's the capacity to bounce back. But it's more than just bouncing back to where you were. True resilience often means bouncing forward, growing stronger from the experience. Adaptability is resilience's close cousin. It's the flexibility to adjust your plans and actions when things change unexpectedly. A mentally strong person doesn't shatter when their plans fall apart. They bend, they adjust, they find a new way. They treat change not as a threat, but as a simple fact of life. Let's challenge the myth that resilience means toughing it out alone. The image of the lone wolf enduring hardship without a flicker of pain is just that, a myth. In reality, research consistently shows that seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Strong social connections are critical for resilience. A resilient person isn't afraid to say, "I need help." They know that leaning on friends, family, or professionals is a strategic part of navigating a crisis. The science behind resilience is fascinating. While some studies suggest genetics may play a role in mental toughness, a huge portion is learned. This means resilience is a skill you can build. Psychologists often point to the growth mindset, a concept from Carol Dweck, as a key ingredient. People with a growth mindset believe their abilities can be developed through hard work. They see failure not as proof of their inadequacy, but as a chance to learn and grow. This perspective transforms challenges from crushing problems into learning experiences. Neurologically, resilient brains are more flexible and better at finding positive meaning in negative events, which actually activates reward circuits in the brain and buffers against stress. Let's look at this in action. Imagine two people lose their jobs. The first person might see it as a devastating personal failure. They fall into a cycle of negative self-talk. "I'm not good enough. I'll never find another job." They become paralyzed by the setback and isolate themselves. The resilient person feels the same initial shock. They don't deny the pain, but after processing the blow, their mindset shifts. They see the job loss as a difficult event, not a reflection of their worth. Their adaptability kicks in. Okay, this plan didn't work. What's plan B? They see it as an opportunity to reassess their career. Maybe it's a chance to pursue a new field or learn a new skill. They reach out to their network for leads and support. They face rejection along the way, but they see each no as one step closer to a yes. They don't just survive. They use the setback as a catalyst for positive change. Think about the countless small business owners who, during global disruptions, had to completely change their business models overnight. The adaptable ones didn't waste time wishing for the way things used to be. They pivoted. Restaurants became gourmet grocery stores. Fitness instructors moved classes online. They showed incredible mental flexibility, reconfiguring their strategies to survive in a new reality. This is adaptability in its purest form, not just enduring change, but harnessing it. So, how do you build your own resilience? First, cultivate a growth mindset. When you fail, reframe your inner monologue. Instead of "I can't do this," add the word "yet." I can't do this yet. This simple shift implies that with effort, you can improve. Second, enhance your self-awareness. Think about past challenges you've overcome. How did you do it? What strengths did you use? Recognizing your own history of resilience builds confidence for future adversities. Third, build a strong support network. Don't wait until a crisis to cultivate relationships. Invest time and energy in your connections. A strong support system is one of the most powerful buffers against life stressors. And remember, asking for help is a sign of strength. Fourth, focus on problem-solving skills. When faced with a problem, resist getting bogged down by the emotion. Shift your focus to what you can do. Break the problem into smaller, manageable pieces and ask yourself, what's the very next step I can take? Taking small actions restores a sense of control. Finally, practice self-care. This isn't an indulgence, it's a prerequisite for resilience. Getting enough sleep, proper nutrition, and regular exercise provides the foundation needed to withstand stress. Activities like mindfulness can also be incredibly effective at building your resilience muscle over time. Resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about having the confidence that when you do fall, you have the skills and the support to get back up, maybe even a little taller than before. Section 3. Healthy self-esteem and self-concept. The third indicator of mental strength is having healthy self-esteem and a stable self-concept. This isn't about arrogance, it's the opposite. Healthy self-esteem is the quiet, internal belief in your own worth, independent of external validation. It's having a positive yet realistic view of yourself, acknowledging your strengths without being boastful, and accepting your weaknesses without harsh self-criticism. A person with a stable self-concept knows who they are and what they value, giving them an internal compass that stays steady in turbulent waters. It's critical to debunk the confusion between self-esteem and ego. An egotistical person often has a very fragile sense of self. Their confidence depends on constant admiration from others. They can't handle criticism and react with anger when faced with their own flaws. A mentally strong person, on the other hand, doesn't need to be propped up by others because their self-worth is internally generated. Because they're secure, they are more open to constructive criticism, seeing it as a chance to grow, not a threat to their identity. The science linking self-esteem and mental health is robust. Countless studies show it acts as a protective factor against issues like depression and anxiety. When you have a solid sense of self-worth, you're better able to cope with setbacks because you don't see them as a reflection of your fundamental value. This is vital in performance. Research shows that people with a positive self-concept are more likely to stay motivated and persevere through difficult situations. Self-belief, or self-efficacy, is a powerful predictor of success, influencing the goals you set and your persistence in the face of obstacles. So, picture this. Two colleagues are both passed over for a promotion. The one with low self-esteem immediately internalizes the rejection. Their thoughts spiral. They think I'm incompetent. I knew I wasn't good enough. I'm a failure. The event confirms their deepest negative beliefs about themselves. The second colleague, with healthy self-esteem, is also disappointed, but their core sense of self-worth stays intact. Their thinking is different. I'm disappointed I didn't get the promotion, but I'm still a capable and valuable employee. I wonder what I can do to be a stronger candidate next time. They might schedule a meeting with their manager to ask for feedback, not from a place of desperation, but from a place of genuine curiosity. They see the event as an outcome, not a verdict on their identity. This ability to separate your performance from your personhood is a hallmark of true mental strength. Another example is how someone with a stable self-concept handles compliments versus insults. Someone with low self-esteem might be overly dependent on praise for a temporary high, but they'll be crushed by criticism. In contrast, the mentally strong person can accept a compliment gracefully with a simple "thank you," without letting it inflate their ego. More importantly, they can hear a negative comment and assess it with detachment. They might ask, "Is there any truth here I can learn from?" If so, they take the lesson. If not, they let it go. Understanding the comment often says more about the person who made it. So, how can you nurture healthier self-esteem? First, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a struggling friend. When you make a mistake, instead of beating yourself up, try saying, "That was tough, and I did the best I could." It's human to make mistakes. This isn't about making excuses. It's about replacing self-judgment with self-kindness. Second, challenge your negative self-talk. When you catch yourself in a spiral of negative thoughts, challenge them. If you think, "I'm a complete failure," ask for the evidence. Have I really failed at everything? Or did I just have a setback here? Replace those absolute negative statements with more realistic ones. Third, focus on your strengths. We often have a negativity bias. Keep a success journal where you write down things you've accomplished, no matter how small. Regularly reviewing this list helps rewire your brain to recognize your own competence. Fourth, set and achieve small, meaningful goals. Self-esteem grows from evidence of your own capability. By setting and accomplishing a small goal, like a 15-minute walk every day for a week, you provide your brain with proof that you can follow through. These small wins build a solid foundation of self-confidence. Finally, surround yourself with supportive people. Spend time with people who lift you up and respect you. Limit your exposure to those who are constantly critical. A healthy social environment is fertile ground for a healthy sense of self. Healthy self-esteem isn't about believing you're perfect. It's about knowing you're worthy and capable, even when you're not. This unwavering internal foundation is what allows you to face the world with confidence and grace. We're halfway through our list. If you're finding this valuable, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our future deep dives into psychology and self-improvement. Now, a question for you. Which of these first 3 signs, emotional regulation, resilience, or healthy self-esteem, do you recognize most in yourself? And which one feels like the biggest opportunity for growth? Let us know in the comments below. Sharing your journey is a powerful step, and reading others' experiences can make us all feel a little less alone. Section 4. Purposeful optimism and motivation. The 4th sign of a mentally strong person is purposeful optimism and intrinsic motivation. This isn't the naive, everything is always wonderful brand of optimism. This is a grounded, realistic form of optimism. It's the deep-seated belief that your actions matter and that you can influence positive outcomes, even when the present is challenging. This is intertwined with a strong sense of why, a clear purpose that fuels your motivation to persist through setbacks. Let's bust the myth that optimism is just wishful thinking. Passive hope is waiting for good things to happen. Purposeful optimism is believing that you can make good things happen. Research consistently shows that optimists aren't just happier, they're more successful in their careers, have better health outcomes, and enjoy stronger relationships. This is because optimism is an active state that fuels goal-directed behavior. A study on undergraduates found that mental toughness was a strong predictor of achieving academic and social goals, driven by a more positive outlook. The science is clear. Optimism and motivation are deeply linked. When you believe your efforts will lead to a better future, you're more likely to put in the work. This creates a powerful positive feedback loop. Your optimistic belief leads to action, which leads to progress, which reinforces your optimistic belief. A mentally strong person doesn't just hope for the best. They have specific, positive expectations about their ability to achieve their goals, and this belief propels them forward. So what does this look like in the real world? Imagine 2 entrepreneurs trying to launch a company. The market is tough, and they face rejection from investor after investor. The first entrepreneur starts to lose faith. They see each no as proof that their idea is worthless. Their motivation plummets, and eventually, they give up. The purposeful optimist also feels the sting of each rejection, but their core belief is different. They see each no as data. They think, okay, that pitch didn't land. What can we learn? How can we refine our presentation? They maintain the belief that a yes is out there, and it's their job to find it. Their optimism isn't about ignoring rejections. It's about believing in their ability to overcome them. This belief is fueled by their purpose, their passion for the problem they're solving. Their motivation is intrinsic, coming from the meaning they find in their work. Or think of someone training for a marathon. There will be days they are sore, tired, and unmotivated. The pessimist might think, this is too hard. I'm not cut out for this. The purposeful optimist acknowledges the difficulty but connects with their larger purpose. They might remind themselves, I'm doing this to prove I can accomplish hard things. This connection to their why gets them out the door. They have a vision of crossing that finish line, and that vision pulls them through the present-day discomfort. How can you cultivate this action-oriented optimism? First, clarify your purpose. Why do you do what you do? What matters most to you? Your purpose is your ultimate source of motivation. Write it down. Revisit it often. When you feel your motivation waning, reconnecting with your why can provide a powerful boost. Second, practice benefit finding. In any difficult situation, actively look for the silver lining or the lesson. This isn't toxic positivity. It's about training your brain to see the whole picture. After a tough meeting, ask yourself, what's one thing I learned that will help me in the future? Third, set approach-oriented goals. Instead of focusing on what you want to avoid, I don't want to be out of shape. Focus on what you want to achieve. I want to have the energy to play with my kids. Approach goals are inherently more motivating. Fourth, curate your information diet. Your mental state is affected by the information you consume. Constantly exposing yourself to a barrage of negativity can erode your optimism. Be intentional. Balance your intake of current events with content that is inspiring and uplifting. Finally, celebrate small wins. Motivation feeds on progress. Break large goals into tiny steps. Each time you complete a step, acknowledge it. This creates a steady stream of positive reinforcement that fuels your optimism to keep going. Purposeful optimism isn't about wearing rose-colored glasses. It's about being the architect of your own future, armed with the motivation to build, brick by brick, even on the cloudy days. Section 5. Healthy boundaries and emotional responsibility. The fifth powerful indicator of a mentally strong person is their mastery of healthy boundaries and emotional responsibility. This is one of the most life-changing skills you can develop. Setting healthy boundaries means understanding and communicating your limits on your time, your energy, and your emotional space. On the other side of that coin is emotional responsibility, the understanding that you are responsible for your own feelings and reactions, and you are not responsible for managing the emotions of other adults. The biggest myth here is that setting boundaries is selfish. Many of us are raised to be people pleasers and feel guilty for saying no. But psychology is clear on this. A lack of boundaries is a direct path to burnout and resentment. Setting a boundary isn't an act of rejection. It is an act of self-respect. In fact, clear boundaries are the foundation of healthy relationships, not a threat to them. The science backs this up. A 2022 study found that people who enforced healthy boundaries at work were significantly less likely to experience burnout. Another study from 2020 noted that people with strong emotional boundaries could better regulate their own feelings in stressful situations. When you have clear boundaries, you're less likely to feel overwhelmed by others' demands, which reduces chronic stress. Let's see how this plays out. Consider the office sponge, the coworker who constantly unloads their stress and drama onto you. A person without strong boundaries might listen for an hour every day, feeling their own energy drain away. They feel trapped and resentful, but worry that cutting the conversation short would be rude. A mentally strong person handles this differently. They might listen for a few minutes with empathy, but then gently protect their time. They might say, "Wow, it sounds like you're in a tough spot. I have to get back to this report, but I hope you're able to sort it out." Or, if it's a recurring issue, they might say, "I've noticed I'm having trouble focusing on my work. I can't be available for long chats during the day anymore, but I'm happy to grab a quick coffee after we clock out." They communicate their limits clearly and respectfully. Another classic example involves family obligations. Imagine your family expects you to attend every gathering, even when you're exhausted. The person without boundaries says yes, out of guilt, then shows up feeling resentful. The mentally strong person knows their limits. They might say, "I love you all, but I'm feeling really run down and need to take this weekend to recharge. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at the next event." They take responsibility for their own needs and trust others to handle their own disappointment. This is emotional responsibility in action. So, how do you get better at setting boundaries? First, know your limits. You can't set a boundary if you don't know where your line is. Pay attention to feelings of resentment and burnout. These are signals that a boundary is being crossed. Reflect on what you need to feel balanced. Second, communicate clearly and respectfully. You don't need to be aggressive. A simple, firm statement is most effective. Use I statements to express your needs without blaming. For example, "I feel overwhelmed when I have to take on extra projects at the last minute," is more effective than "You're always dumping work on me." Third, give yourself permission to say no without guilt. Reframe what no means. You aren't saying, "I don't care about you." You are saying, "I need to prioritize my own well-being right now." Every time you say no to something that drains you, you say yes to something that recharges you. Fourth, be consistent. People may test your boundaries, especially if they're used to you not having any. Upholding them consistently is what makes them real. Finally, start small. If setting boundaries is terrifying, don't start with the most difficult person in your life. Practice in low-stakes situations. Say no to a small request. Each time you succeed, you build the confidence to handle more challenging situations. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They are fences that allow you to maintain your own beautiful garden, so you have more to offer the world. Section 6. Effective coping strategies and problem solving. The final sign of a mentally strong person is their reliance on effective coping strategies and a problem-solving orientation. When faced with stress, people generally use two types of coping: problem-focused or emotion-focused. Emotion-focused coping involves soothing your feelings, which is useful when you can't change a situation. Problem-focused coping, however, involves taking direct action to solve the problem causing the stress. Mentally strong people don't just try to feel better, they actively try to make things better. They have a bias for action and tackle problems head-on instead of avoiding them. The myth here is that mental strength means you never feel stressed. Everyone feels stress. The difference is in the response. Someone lacking mental strength might rely on avoidance, procrastinating, distracting themselves, or wishing the problem would go away. This might bring temporary relief, but it allows the problem to grow. A mentally tough person, by contrast, views stress as a signal to engage. They prioritize problem-focused coping, which research shows is linked to a greater sense of control and long-term stress reduction. The science highlights a crucial mindset shift. By directly addressing the root cause of a stressor, people feel a greater sense of empowerment. This proactive stance is a key mechanism of mental toughness. When mentally tough individuals face adversity, they're more likely to create an action plan, seek information, and break down the problem into manageable steps. This doesn't just solve the external problem. It also reinforces their internal belief in their ability to handle challenges. Let's look at a concrete example: financial stress. Say someone is worried about growing credit card debt. The avoidant approach is to stop opening the bills and distract oneself, all while living with a constant, low-grade anxiety. The problem-solving approach is completely different. The mentally strong person uses that anxiety as a catalyst. First, they gather information. They open all the bills and create a spreadsheet to understand the exact scope of the debt. Then, they create an action plan. They make a budget, look for ways to earn extra income, and research debt consolidation options. Each small, proactive step reduces the overwhelming nature of the problem and replaces dread with a sense of direction. They aren't just wishing the debt away, they are systematically dismantling it. Another example is work-related pressure. Imagine a student overwhelmed by exams. The avoidant student might binge-watch a series, escaping temporarily but growing more anxious as the exams get closer. The mentally strong student uses a problem-focused approach. They create a detailed study schedule. They form a study group. They go to their professor's office hours to clarify difficult concepts. They are actively and strategically engaging with the source of their stress. So, how can you develop a more proactive, problem-solving mindset? First, get in the habit of tackling the problem. When you feel stressed, ask yourself, what is the problem at the root of this feeling, and what is one small thing I can do right now to address it? This shifts your brain from panic mode to planning mode. Second, become a master of planning. When a large problem arises, break it down into the smallest possible steps. An action plan can make even the most daunting challenge seem achievable. Third, ask for support and information. Problem-solving doesn't have to be a solo mission. Mentally strong people aren't afraid to seek advice from a mentor, a friend, or a therapist. Gathering different perspectives is a key part of effective problem-solving. Fourth, challenge your own limiting beliefs. Sometimes the biggest obstacle is the belief that we can't solve a problem. Thoughts like "it's impossible" can paralyze us. Challenge those thoughts. Ask, is that really 100% true? Or is it just difficult? Finally, build your toolkit of healthy emotion-focused strategies to use in parallel. Even when you're actively solving a problem, you'll feel stress. Healthy ways to manage that emotion, like exercise, mindfulness, or time in nature, will give you the stamina to stick with your efforts for the long haul. Mental strength isn't about being immune to life's problems. It's about seeing yourself as someone who can face challenges with courage, creativity, and a relentless focus on finding the way forward. Conclusion: these are the 6 powerful, science-backed indicators of a truly resilient mind. We've seen that true mental strength isn't about being cold or unemotional. It's about the skill of emotional regulation, the resilience of adaptability, and the quiet confidence of healthy self-esteem. It's fueled by purposeful optimism, protected by healthy boundaries, and put into action through problem-solving. Notice that none of these are fixed traits. Every single one is a skill, a mindset, a practice. And that is the most empowering message of all. Mental strength is not something you either have or you don't. It is something you can build and strengthen every single day through conscious choices. Your journey doesn't require a massive life overhaul. It starts with small, consistent actions. The mindful breath before a stressful email. The moment you choose self-compassion over self-criticism. The small no that protects your energy. And the first step you take to tackle a problem you've been avoiding. If this resonated with you, the journey doesn't have to end here. Check out our library of content on practical psychology and building a stronger mind. Our playlist on Stoic philosophy is a great place to find more timeless wisdom on building inner peace. And before you go, don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful and subscribe for more content that empowers you to become the strongest version of yourself. Thank you for investing this time in your own growth. Remember, strength is a journey, not a destination. Keep learning, keep practicing, and be patient with yourself along the way.